Hello everybody, Rev Megas here. I just wanted to tell you guys about this awesome experience I had recently. Basically what happened was there was a game jam for the, I believe, September month, where basically you were creating a game that was very Harvest inspired. Now I've never built a game, never made a game, never developed a game, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, really, I want to jump into this, and I jumped into this awesome. This was such a cool thing to do. So basically, I built out this game in Unity, did all the coding. Uh, I used some free assets. Yes, I have not reached that level of like building out my own assets, but it was a really cool experience. And there was a lot of things I learned doing this. And I just kind of want to give a little bit of like my thought process, all that stuff that happened with it, and just kind of this cool approach. So basically, with this game jam, you were unable to make the game violent. It had to be very kid-friendly, very family-friendly. So obviously I took out a lot of the horror elements that you could have in a September-ish, October-ish, Halloween-esque feel. So that kind of limited it a little bit. I have always wanted to make a horror game, even though I hate horror games, but went a different route, and I was like, what could I possibly build out? And I actually decided I did a Punkin Chunkin game. Now, if you have no idea what that is, it's basically this I think it's kind of dumb. It's hilarious to watch. Still kind of dumb. They basically launch pumpkins either through catapult cannons, trebuchets, and I forget, like a ballistic style launcher, whatever the slingshot one I think it is. And it's basically, they launch the pumpkins, see how far they can go, and they build out these whole things. So I kind of want to take a little bit of the elements of that while also adding in the 3D elements of Unity. So, oh my gosh, the game started out, I was like, I got this. This is going to be simple. Walk in the park. I have 1 week. I waited till the very last minute to start on this. I didn't. Yeah, you had a month, and I decided to be a cool guy and basically do it in 1 week. Don't recommend it. So anyway, I ended up building out this game where I was like, all right, it's going to shoot off this pumpkin. You're going to control the pumpkin. You're going to basically have boosting, jumping. You're going to have obstacles. You're going to, have power-ups, all that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah. So I started and I threw my, my cylinder, because I was like, oh, that kind of works. And I was like, nah, we'll go capsule. And that was my character. That was my sprite. That was my thing. And I threw down a plane and wow. That's where immediately everything hit. Like, how difficult it is to actually build out a video game. Now, I do a lot of Let's Plays and reviews, and I make fun of people. Not make fun of, I'm critiquey as hell. I make sure to let my opinion be known when it comes to video gaming. But, oh my gosh, this was a lot harder than I thought. It was unbelievable, everything that just went into it. So, like I said, I had my capsule. And I was like, I need it to basically, you pick a pumpkin. You have a pumpkin. They have different like stats and attributes. I'm like, I'm gonna build this out that like you got all this different stuff you can do with it. You can make it like, huge. You can make like multiple pumpkins, different colors, different upgrades to the like selecting it. And I thought that would all be cool. That fell flat so fast. I did not have enough time to build out that portion of the power-up system. I still had it that you could basically choose pumpkins, but the actual system kind of wasn't the greatest. So then I was like, all right, have it launch through velocity. It's... And it launches, and I'm like, oh man, I'm out of space on this plane. And it's falling through the floor. So I'm like, all right, I got to type out on Google, rush over. Okay, so I didn't know there was this type of terrain. Built out of terrain. Tried all that out. I'm like, okay, good. I can learn Blender in 7 days too. Coding and learning 3D modeling. That's like a week-long thing, and you're golden. You're golden. No. Ended up downloading some assets because I was like, I cannot learn it. Plus code. Ended up coding, getting that portion. I got the pumpkins. You could pick pumpkins. They would launch the pumpkin. The pumpkin would go a distance. It'd pull back how much distance you launched it. It was good. And I'm like, all right. Now for the hard part. I've got to add in how to actually do power-ups. And oh my gosh, that took... Everything just kept compounding. Like, you start off and you're like, oh man, simple. Keep this simple. I mean, I'm going and I'm like, all right, I just need like a score system. But the score system has to be available. There. Do this, do that, do everything. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I have learned a lot in my brief time of doing this. Basically, I learned that you should not rush into this without a plan in place. That was my first big mistake. I did not scope out my plan. And if you're familiar with anything, you should definitely scope it out, especially with software development. I did not do that. So second thing I learned, and you don't have to write these down. Second thing I learned, Unity works very oddly. And I did not realize that certain instantiations can be attached to certain objects, and only those objects can pull it. And you basically have to make sure everything's attached right. I did not know that. I ran into that issue. Thirdly, there is a lot of stuff that will actually go into setting up your scenes. I thought that once I got most of it coded, I was done. But the actual, to make things look right, the layouts, the UI perspective of it, yeah. It wasn't until I exported my game, had it already nice and neatly tied up, that I realized there was a lot of things that just looked terrible. UI elements all over the place because I didn't anchor them right. It was just... But I learned from it. I built some more stuff. I tried to go overboard on certain sections while cutting some stuff that I felt like wasn't really needed. And there was a lot that just went into that portion. The other big thing that I messed up, and it's actually something that I do a lot of the time, is I ran into an issue with not having enough time to play test it. I hit that point where I was like, okay, either this game's getting released or it's not. And, oh boy. Yeah, you find mistakes after you submit your game. I've come to that conclusion. I came to that so quickly. And it was, oh crap, a minor bug. Here and there. A couple of, misspelling error I think was thrown in there somewhere. I'm not going to really dwell on that one. Spelling's hard. But overall, I do have to say, it was a great experience. I loved it. I thought I didn't think I'd have so much fun coding stuff. And I did really enjoy it. It might be something I do more frequently. I really loved doing it. I thought it was a great time. And even though the game wasn't what I envisioned it to be, it still gave me a little bit of knowledge, and it's something I can honestly say that I finished it and I was able to upload it on itch.io. I mean, that's something that to be said. But oh my gosh. I have to say, if you were planning on building out a game, just think about how much work is going to go into it, because oh my gosh. If you think it's going to be simple, it ends up not being simple. It ends up being a lot harder. And if you can do it with a team, that might be easier. Do a solo. But just wanted to give you guys my insight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll probably throw a trailer here. Just kind of show off the game a little bit. Don't expect something great. But thank you guys. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.